Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. This amazing use of gold and silver from 5,500 years ago. Let's explore! When most of us think of gold and silver, we think about its uses that have been around for thousands of years. And one of those would be jewelry. And obviously we know that gold and silver have been utilized as jewelry for centuries and adorned for decoration as a store of value as well. We also know that they've been utilized as coins and even bars and have been treasured for payments as transacted as money. That is something that continues to this day. Jewelry and use as coins and bars in order to preserve your wealth, a store of value. Those things continue to this day. But we know that silver and gold have also proved very effective in ancient times for medicinal uses as well. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about another amazing discovery, something that might be considered a bit more, well, leisurely, let's put it to you this way, but also something that would be considered a lot of fun for partiers. That's right. Silver King sent me this story here from inverse.com, and it was a discovery a century ago. An archaeologist realized that what they found with these gold and silver items was really an ancient beer bong. Can you imagine? Amazing. In 1897, a Russian archaeologist called Nikolai Vasilovsky came across some curious tube-like objects while excavating an enormous burial mound known as a kurgan from the Old Turkic. The burial site was discovered outside of Maykop, a village in the northwestern Caucasus. The mound dated to the early Bronze Age, some 5,500 years ago. The tubes, meanwhile, were made of gold and silver and decorated with bulls and other animal motifs. We'll look at those here momentarily. Veselovsky theorized that they were a sign of high stature, scepters perhaps. But more than 100 years later, archaeologists have a rather different, delicious theory. They were extremely old beer straws. In a paper aptly titled Party Like a Sumerian, published Wednesday in the journal Antiquity, archaeologists present a meticulous re-examination of these objects and argue they are likely more ancient beer bongs and scepters. The problem with the old theory, these researchers note, is that the past analysis didn't account for the tube's complete design, such as the intricate configuration and hollow center. The idea of reinterpreting the scepters first came to me about a decade ago, and I even shared it with my colleagues, but I didn't get any support. The paper's first author, Viktor Trifonov, wrote to Inverse to prove his argument. Trifonov, an archaeology researcher at St. Petersburg Russian Academy of Sciences, knew he needed more substantial evidence. The kurgan, in which the straws were discovered, comprised of a large chamber divided into 3 compartments, each containing the body of an adult in the fetal position. The body in the largest section was adorned with rich fabric from precious stones, as well as 8 long, thin, hollow tubes. Since their discovery, they have been preserved at the Hermitage in St. Petersburg. Here we see examples of components of the ornate tubes, originally identified as scepters here. And we can see they have been spliced. You can see what they look like. Interesting. The breakthrough came when researchers found the supposed scepter's inner filter curiously contained barley starch residue. The clue suggested something containing barley, such as beer, may have passed through these metal tubes. This was the turning point for Trifonov. I decided to check if there was any residue left from the beverage inside the mycop tubes in the Hermitage, he wrote to Inverse. Everything else fell into place when my teammates found the starch, pilotis, and pollen grains inside of the filter. And here is the look of these drawings. These are schematic drawings, depicts the long tubes, 4 of them with bull figurines, as you can see there. So why does it matter? If these are indeed drinking straws, they represent the earliest physical evidence of drinking through long tubes, a practice which became common during feasts of the 3rd and 2nd millennia BC in the ancient Near East. We know that straws have existed for millennia. The earliest depictions of people drinking through a straw are on seal impressions dating back to the 5th or 4th millennia BC. The next oldest surviving straws are about 4,500 years old from the rural cemetery at Ur, which is currently in southern Iraq. Trifonov points out that a gap of about 1,000 years between these mycop straws and the ones found in Iraq. The detail is important when it comes to looking at funeral rituals in the region. Royal funerals resembled what Vasilevsky found, a body buried with a luxurious set of items including the straws. In the paper, Trifonov posits that the 8 of the hollow tubes could represent feasting tools for 8 people. In life, these people would all sit around one large vessel and guzzle beer with their straws. Skillfully forged from precious metals, the straws demonstrated one's wealth and elite status. Aside from jewelry, the tubes were the objects placed closest to the deceased in the tombs. I hope they didn't have backwash. Here's another image of them. They're thought to be what they found in these mycop kurgan. So the complete set of straws includes 8 composite gold and silver tubes, all measuring more than 1 meter long and 10 millimeters in diameter. The ends and centers are hollow, leaving a 5 millimeter diameter tube through which a liquid could easily pass. While long, these objects are only about 200 grams, not quite half of a pound in weight. The straws are highly decorated, and each includes what appears to be a figurine of a bull or gazelle, which itself measures 70 to 90 millimeters from the tips of the horns to the tail. Wow. The reinterpretation offers a clear of a picture of life in the Bronze Age in Samaria. Trifonov points out how the straw's simple yet sophisticated engineering extends even to the exquisite bull figurines, which are decorative but not act as balancing devices. Look at these. Pretty amazing indeed. This development could also refine our understanding of mycop's funeral rites and their religious significance throughout Western Asia at the time. The mycop drinking equipment provides a hint at the possible existence of similar royal funerals in the Near East of the mid-4th millennium BC, which we know almost nothing about, he writes. The next time you unsheath a straw from a paper sleeve or stick your stainless steel one into a glass, imagine how maybe you're partying like a Sumerian too. So indeed. So this abstract is from the Mycop Kurgan, is one of the most richly furnished prehistoric burial mounds in northern Caucasus. Excavation began in 1897, yielded this set of these tubes with elaborate tips and decorative bull figurines. Amazing how they just discovered this, of what it could mean by it. What a fascinating story this was. So I want to thank Silver King for sending this along to me. What an amazing story. And that's just it. On this channel, we like to cover odd and interesting things regarding gold and silver, and this is certainly a prime example of that kind of thing. A lot of diversity here. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like to produce a lot of content, is because there's so many different things to talk about in the world of precious metals. No shortage. And this is yet another example of how literally a beer bong was discovered over 100 years ago with these straws. Like, again, I hope they didn't know wasn't there a lot of backwash happening. But nonetheless, there it is. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.